All right, everybody, come on in, come on in. You know it's not a stream unless it's a struggle stream. I had an echo and I couldn't find it. I had another tab open and I was like, where is it? Come on in, everybody. You all know that you want this. You've asked for it. Welcome to week 3 of this unexpected series from Lucy, the gift that just keeps on giving. But welcome to the Let's Talk podcast with Maggie and Lucy. I am Maggie, the substitute teacher. You may know me for my cooking channel. I make food and femininity content. And with Lucy, we have partnered together to create the finishing school for the modern woman. We just wrapped up a new session, and this is where we teach real women in the real world how to lead with femininity, elegance, and etiquette. And then twice a week, we like to come onto this virtual world with you all as our way of giving back. We believe the older women should teach the young, so we react to relationship content from our own lived experience. Lucy, please introduce yourself and remind us, what are we watching today?
Hi, Maggie. Hi, everyone. I'm Lucy, and I have a small channel that mainly focuses on femininity, elegance, and things that impacts women over a certain age. Plus, there's another side that teaches those that want to learn Spanish, basic Spanish. There's also a Spanish teaching part. And, after finishing the session for the finishing school for the modern woman, these ladies just inspire me. I mean, it's just beautiful to see these young women wanting to do better and applying what they learn in our sessions and coming back telling us this is how I applied it and this is how it went. It's just so it's beautiful to see young women wanting to just, self develop. But in this case, we are going to see part 3 for a series of clips and videos about single women giving other single women advice that it's not as beneficial to them in the long run. So it's interesting to see part 1 and 2. Again, Maggie, I'm so sorry that it sometimes it triggers you because I had no idea the level of um, just negativity that these young women have. Even being young, it makes me think they've lived this long to learn how to teach others how bad it is for other young women. So again, it's interesting to see behavior that really mainly doesn't apply. They're just learning it from watching videos and listening instead of life experience.
Yes, and for centuries, the older women have taught the younger women, the older men have taught the younger men from life experience. So again, the title of this video that we're reacting to is "The Wives Are Barely Making It, So Enjoy Being Single." And we did part 1 where I had a few outbursts to start out the new year because I was sick of it already. And then in week 2, we took some time to take a look at this channel. And like I told you all last week, this is a nameless, faceless channel, which is completely her right. But this is a woman on YouTube who has basically collected a whole bunch of women crashing out on TikTok that are wives, saying why they hate their marriages, how it's so horrible being married. And the reason why she's doing it is what really got to me. The reason why she's doing it is because she says, ladies, don't worry about being single. Don't worry about being alone for the holidays. Don't let these weddings and these family moments get you down. The wives aren't even doing so well themselves. So I'm happy being single. I'm happy I don't have a man. When in my opinion, that's a lie, because somebody like that, as soon as they even think they have a man, they will shut down shop, turn tail, and run. And then what Lucy and I are trying to prevent is younger women believing this foolishness and wrecking your own relationships. All right. So we are going to pick up where we left off. This is about a 30-minute video, and you all said you want us to continue. So we're almost halfway. And so we play the clips and then we react to it, hoping to give some wisdom. We always like to bring you all into the conversation. So please join us in the chat. You can watch live on my channel, Maggie the Substitute Teacher, or Lucy's channel on YouTube or Facebook, and we can bring up your comments. Thank you so much for being here, Dirk and Rodney as well. All right, so I'm going to share my screen, and I think we were in the middle of some woman ranting last week. So let me pull it up with the sound, and we're just going to play. And yeah, I think this is the one that we ended up on last time. So she's going off about something, and then I will turn on the sound. I'm going to mute myself. Uh-oh, did we lose Lucy? All right. Here we go.
With 3 suitcases.
With the girls or without the girls?
Without the girls. So I have a full-time nanny who was there 7 to 7. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to come to LA and I'm going to see my therapist because my therapist is here and I'm just going to check into the hotel. Well, when I got to the hotel, I slept for so long, they did a wellness check and they knocked on the door to make sure I was okay because I hadn't ordered any food and no one had seen me. And I could barely talk when they did the wellness check because I hadn't had water in so long.
You were just out because you were so exhausted?
I was out. I was physically exhausted and sick.
How many hours is this?
I would say it was probably, I want to say 30 hours. After I got up, I remember just being in a stupor and feeling like I could only mentally take one thing in front of me. So it was like, okay, drink water. Okay, eat some food, lay back down. And then finally, I actually just told my sister, I said, can you please check in on the kids? Because I don't know if I'll be able to. You know, I mean, it was just really step by step. And I think that's very similar for a lot of women.
All right, so let's respond to this lovely lady. So she is explaining how she had to leave her home and leave her family and check into a hotel because she was basically losing it. And ladies, part of the reason why family is so important is because those of us who come from cultures where we believe marriage is about two families coming together is because you have an instant support system. So much about the modern world, just I like you and you like me, and we're going to look into each other's googly eyes forever. When life gets tough and when the you know what hits the fan, this is where a lot of women, they don't know how to cope. I remember, and this is not just in African culture, but in a lot of cultures, when the boys were born, my mom came to Virginia and stayed for months and allowed me to rest and showed me how to make food, was cooking for me. So all I had to do was nurse and go back to sleep. My point is this, ladies, we should never, and things happen, and I am not a doctor, but we should never allow ourselves to get to the point where we have to leave our family and go check into a hotel. You don't go from zero to basically, you know, I can't take it anymore. These things happen. And if you are really struggling in that way, you need to be able to tell somebody who can help you, who can fix it, help you fix it before it gets that bad. Speak to your husband, speak to your mother-in-law, your pastor, somebody. What I don't like, and you all know I continue to say this, when women go to the internet in their worst moments, and she said, well, this happened to me, and I know this happened to a lot of others. This is the kind of thing that younger women hear who really want marriage and family, and they're just like, oh my gosh, it's like there's some boogeyman out there that's going to come get me. This is an extreme case. We all have moments. Maybe you struggle with depression, whatever it is, but you need to have that support system, and that's why the family is so important. What would you add, Lucy?
And that's another challenging thing here in the modern world is that I did not hear her say, my husband helped me with the kids. So again, is she a single mom dealing with all of these events in her house without having that one person that in the beginning, when you say your vows, you say for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, till death do us part. Is that person there to help you out? Because I know that if she had that husband, she would have probably left the kids with somebody that cares for the kids and not with, with a nanny. Again, that goes back to, what are the priorities here? Now we see a lot of women talking to therapists, whereas in old times, a long time ago when we had grandparents, great grandparents along, those were the ones that would provide counsel. We didn't have some random person that we pay money to kind of sit there and listen to things that, quite honestly, they really don't care about. They just want, they get paid. They have gone to school to listen to people, but they don't have your best interest. Whereas when it comes to traditional families, and I know that, thank goodness, in my family, the grandparents are still there on both sides of the brothers-in-laws, sisters-in-laws. They have their also families there. They have those people that are close to them that will have their best, that would want the best outcome out of that conversation than having some random person, do a wellness check, for you, because you didn't have that bandwidth to deal with day-to-day family, kids issues.
I love that. And you bring up a good point, Lucy. I didn't remember hearing her say husband either. She said my sister, she said my nanny. And so either there is a husband that has not been prioritized by her, or there isn't a husband, which that's a whole problem in and of itself. Rodney says silence doesn't solve problems. Absolutely, ladies. I mean, you can run away, you can take your girls' trips, you can go do whatever. You're coming back to that. You're not going to evade the life that you have created for yourself. So make sure you pick and you plan a good one. All right, let's go back in and see what the next lady has to say.
Husband's not going to change, and here's why. This is going to sound harsh, but I think a lot of people actually just really need to hear the truth, and it's because he doesn't care. It doesn't benefit him to change. Approaching your husband again to discuss an issue, whether it's household inequity, you not feeling considered, you not feeling like he's putting any time and effort into it, likely going to fall on deaf ears. If he's been exploiting your time, your labor, your energy, and if he didn't care when he started doing it, he's not going to care now. Because this likely isn't the first time that you've approached him with an issue. This isn't the first time you've tried to explain your needs to him or how you feel unsupported. If he didn't hear you out, listen, learn, and change the very first time you brought these issues up to him, it's not going to happen now. And this goes for all aspects. If you bring up an issue to him and he either says that you're holding him to an unfair standard or he's gaslighting you about minimizing your emotions, it's because he doesn't care and it doesn't benefit him to change. And there's no consequence when he doesn't, because there's no consequence if he doesn't change. Eventually, things are going to go back to how they were. You're going to stop nagging him and he's going to be fine with it until you bring it up again. And then again, nothing happens because there's no consequences. So why would he want to change? It's like with kids. You can threaten and ask and threaten and ask and threaten and ask, but the second you don't follow through with it, they know that they can get away with it because there's no consequences for it. I'm not saying you should threaten to leave and upend your marriage at the very first sign of something going wrong, but if he doesn't change the first time you bring it up, he doesn't care and it's not going to change. I often have women come to me and ask me for recommendations of books or things that they can do to help their marriage or help reconnect with their partner. And I had a woman ask me the other day, the same thing. Do you have any book recommendations? They're in couples counseling right now. And because her husband is diminishing her and minimizing her feelings and emotions and then having angry outbursts at her when she brings them up. So I asked her the same thing. Do you think if he cared, you would be in this position? That 8 months into therapy, you're seeing only small changes? Those are those breadcrumbs I talk about. Those are those small changes that they give you to make you think that things are changing and they're better off than where they were, which still isn't good enough.
Oh my goodness. I am not married to her, but even I was saying, please make it stop. There was so much there. I'm trying to think of what I haven't already said, but what struck me, and she said it a couple of times. Did you hear her when she said, if your husband doesn't listen, learn, and change the first time you say it, he doesn't care about you? This is a woman clearly who doesn't respect her husband because she expects, I snap my fingers, you say how high. I say something, you need to do it right now. The power dynamic in this relationship is so messed up. I bet, and I don't know this man, but I bet he's probably checked out. This is a woman who doesn't know how to communicate. I'm thinking about the finishing school class that we just wrapped up, where one of our students brought up an example of a woman who was not doing well, but she, instead of lashing out, she got quiet in that chaotic moment, and her husband noticed she wasn't okay, and he went to solve the problem for her and then held her hand. Do you think the husband of this woman, who again has gone to the internet to talk about how miserable she is and how other people are miserable, her husband is saying, this is a woman that I want to protect. Ladies, no man is going to marry you and risk his life for you to exploit you. That doesn't even make sense. The language that she used, he doesn't care about you. He doesn't validate your emotions. He's exploiting you. This is not anybody who's in a loving relationship. And I don't know how long it's been this going on this long, but she is, she doesn't talk of her husband like a man that she admires and respects. She talks of her husband like another child. She actually compared it to, just like when you tell the kids, she talks about her husband like he is a child who is supposed to do what she says when she says it. So I can only imagine how she talks to him if that's how she talks about him. What would you add, Lucy?
I mean, it's pretty sad and embarrassing that this woman is talking about her husband that way, like he's a child, or, that she leads the home. She has, from what I saw, that's a beautiful home she has. Did the husband give it to her? How is that, he's providing you with a beautiful environment and you still want to talk about how you cannot control your man. And imagine she took the time to edit that video, to listen to what she was saying, and she still thought that that was a good thing to post. Again, I don't think that marriage is in good standing, quite honestly. The fact that she's speaking that way about her husband, it says that he's actually checked out, or he has no idea that that's what she feels about him. And I'm wondering if she said, hey, listen to this video that I'm going to post. I'm wondering what he would say if he heard that. That is just incredible. It's so embarrassing and just so sad. And I want to be petty a little bit here. The fact that she was cutting the tomato that way means that she doesn't cook that long, because she's cutting it not like a person that has cut things, fruits and tomatoes all the time. So, spare me the fake social media stuff. Again, it bothers me when women speak so badly about their men like that. It's just so disrespectful.
I have to go back and look at the tomatoes, y'all. Did I miss it? Oh my gosh, let me turn off the sound. Lucy looked at how she was cutting the tomatoes. Oh my goodness. Oh no, what did I do here, y'all? Okay, but I do agree with what Lucy said as far as she has a beautiful home. Lucy and the tomatoes. That's hilarious. Yes, we can be petty.
Muted.
I'm muted, sorry. But Lucy is right. The ungratefulness. You have this big, beautiful home that you are so burdened to take care of. And yeah, ladies, let me just say, I always want to think about some tangible things. Young ladies, it doesn't matter how attracted you are to him, how wealthy he is, how many doors he can open for you, how many restaurants and places he can take you to. You have to respect your husband. That is a non-starter. If you do not look at that man with awe, admiration, and respect, do not marry him. You have to respect him, because it leads to stuff like this. You have to have that thing inside that's like, ooh, I'm flying a little close to the sun. Ooh, I don't want to get close to that fence. That's how I feel about my man. I know that's how Lucy feels about her husband. You have to want to protect the relationship, because you know you can't just do whatever you want to do. This is a woman that is out of order. And the tomato thing made me laugh. But yes, that I don't even know what to say. There's really nothing that can be said. I can only imagine if her husband came across that and was doing everything that he could. And maybe she just approached him wrong. Maybe she didn't shut up and let him actually respond. She just went on and on and on because he didn't listen, learn, and correct it the first time, like she said. Becky agrees. Hello, Jurgen's here from across the pond. Let's see what you all are saying in the chat. Can it solve the tomatoes too? Rodney says she is fired. Absolutely. Rodney also says communication requires respect and patience on both sides. Ladies, I'm going to say it. I'm going to go out on a limb. You got to respect that man more than you love him. You have to respect him. If you think that flame, that love that you have in the moment is going to carry you through, it will not. Feelings come and go. There is a love that is a slow burn over time. But if you can talk anyway to that man, that is why she's acting that way. She is uncovered because I bet money that he has checked out. I cannot even imagine fixing my mouth to talk like that and then putting it on the internet forever. Curtis is agreeing. Yes, absolutely. Let's see what else you all are saying. Curtis says, thanks, ladies, for bringing these conversations to the light. You're both amazing and greatly appreciated. Thank you for the compliment. All right, y'all, let's go back in.
Changes that they give you to make you think that things are changing and they're better off than where they were, which still isn't good enough.
Always trust your intuition. If something is not feeling right, it typically means that it's not right. If someone is showing you their true colors at the very beginning, it usually means that they're going to be like that even past a relationship and even past marriage. They love you after a month, they really don't love you. They might like the idea, but they really don't love you. And if you don't love yourself, you're not going to be self-aware that that is not okay, that is a red flag in its own. And you're going to end up attracting a narcissist who made you feel crazy for feeling like you can't trust them, for making you feel crazy for allowing his patterns continue, his patterns to show you that that's who he is. He's not going to change. He's going to tell you all these amazing things and words and apologize, but his actions prove something else. His actions show you exactly the type of person he's going to be. So don't let that fool you. And don't think that a marriage is going to fix that. Don't make the same mistake I did, because I didn't love myself enough to not realize this at the very beginning. I'm glad that I have the courage now to see this when it's only been 6 months of knowing each other and 3 months of marriage. Now I am going through an annulment. I would never wish that on anyone. I owe it to my future self to work on myself, to love myself so much that I will never allow anyone to disrupt my peace again. I will never allow anyone to just say words and not follow up with actions. I will never allow someone to make me feel crazy for feeling a certain way and for communicating on how I feel based on that person's actions. I will never allow that to happen again, because I know I'm going to get to the point where I'm going to come out stronger than this. It fucking hurts. It hurts so much right now. But I know this is the best decision for myself, so I don't make the same mistake in the future. Don't make the same mistake I did, because it hurts like hell. But I know I'm going to come out stronger. And I hope this helps someone who's going through some things very similar, or prevents you from making a decision that you shouldn't be making as far as marrying the person that's making you feel this way. Trust your intuition.
All right. Well, Lucy started it, so I am going to continue. I am usually not petty, but this woman said, okay, I usually am petty, but I don't do it for public consumption. This woman said, because I'm going to do the work. Ma'am, you have done so much work. I don't know what part of your body is left to do work on. Y'all, the lips, the eyelashes, the cheeks that have filler, The cleavage down to her navel, so her chest is exposed. The candy corn nails that when she touches her chest are out here like the claws. And she's talking about, don't marry someone who tells you, I love you, or in 3 months, or whatever it is. You have been focused on the exterior that you think looks a certain way that men want. You have absolutely done no work to prepare yourself for real discernment and real judgment. Yeah, somebody on Instagram says they said they loved you in a month. Everything was so wrong about what she said. Did you all notice at the beginning, the first overlay said from marriage to annulment in 3 months? So this is another one of these relationships. And I've seen it with women who just think this is their Prince Charming, think this is their happy ending, think this is their, storybook finale, and they just throw caution to the wind and they run head first, because in the story that you're telling yourself, you're really not going to have to do the real work to get to know somebody, to take a year or two to really see who this person is at every phase of life. You're really not going to be required to get on a man's timeline and let him vet you, because you deserve to be expedited. This is what you've done all this work for, and you look the part. And then when you realize that you've married a monster, that's on you. Ladies, I'm going to tell you, me no mister said something else this week. He said, we get what we deserve. And I was like, oh my gosh, here we go. He said, ladies, if you are, and she used that word, a narcissist, and my man will tell you, well, why does a narcissist have access to you? Ladies, if you have all these long drawn out stories about the horrors of your relationship, like Kevin Samuels used to say, you attract what you are. And it's really sad to say, but ladies, nobody who is of exceptional quality is going to make those type of decisions. So your decision making, your rush to the finish line, you're thinking that you don't have to really earn it, like those of us in the real world have to earn it. You can buy it and insert it and do all these things to be the perfect, piece of arm candy. And then you realize the man that you chose doesn't have good character. And ma'am, that's because you don't have good character. And it makes me sad to say that, but ladies, the crazy ones know who they can run something over on. And you have to ask yourself, when you do all these things to disfigure yourself, yes, I said it, you're showing up as someone who's not serious. You're showing up as someone who looks matter more than substance. And of course, we want to present ourselves well, but that is why you have this embarrassing story to tell. And I'm sure you told everybody you were getting married in 90 days, and now you're on the internet crying that or married in a month and it only lasted 90 days. What would you add, Lucy?
I absolutely agree. If you yourself are you build yourself as something different than you are, men know that. They spot it, and you probably attracted somebody that is also as superficial as you. So again, she met her match, and now that things didn't work out, now she's going to the social media therapy chair to get all of these people to, commiserate and to feel bad for you for a decision that only she made. Nobody else made the decision for her. She chose to be that with that narcissist that she says that he is. And first of all, she didn't even really tell a story of why she's, divorcing him or whatever. It was all generalities and just platitudes about, don't allow the world to give you all of these things. Talk to me about real stuff. What did he actually do that made you create this annulment in your marriage? Very, very weird.
Yes, let's see what you all are saying in the chat. And then Condemned, I do see Lucy is also streaming, so please let me know if you don't see it over there. But yes, Meki says disrespectful wife can't be good friends as well. That's such a good point. I think you were talking about the woman before who was doing this whole rant about if your husband doesn't listen, learn, and correct the behavior the first time. Ladies, and we talked about this in the finishing school, the company that you keep says a lot. And when you go on a journey to be the best version of yourself, to be more feminine, to be more elegant, to have good etiquette, to be a good woman to a good man, you are not going to be able to maintain some of the same ratchet, complaining, condescending women that my man calls it a hen session, when y'all get together and just start clucking about whatever's bad in your life. That's the type of woman that she's going to be looking for stones to throw in your relationship. She's going to be looking for, if you even open your mouth to say something, which I would not recommend, then she's going to be like, girl, I've seen that before. This is how it starts. And then before you know it, and then you wreck your relationship for something foolish. That's why we're trying to prevent it by revealing this here. Phyllis asked a great question. She said, I missed it. What did he do? Did you notice that she really couldn't pinpoint anything that I came home and he had robbed a bank and he went to jail? She never said anything specific. She's sitting there with her fake tears, maybe because she can't cry because of all the work she's had done on her face. But she's sitting there basically saying, don't let anybody make you feel like you're crazy, which means you had crazy behavior. Don't let anybody, don't believe anybody when they tell you that they love you after 1 month. You really needed to be told that? If someone that I did not know told me I love you in 1 month, I would go the other direction. You do not know me. We are still basically strangers. There is no way you could possibly know me. But you, ma'am, not only allowed a man to say, I love you in 1 month, married him, and then you're here crying, asking why it ended in 3 months. You married a stranger. You did not know him. You did not allow him to get to know you. Maybe because you didn't want him to know the real you, because maybe with all these botched surgeries that you've done, you don't want anybody to know the real you. You just want to think you look good enough to be placed right there as Mrs. So-and-so, and then you realize, oh, I really got to do life with this person and I don't know them. You all are laughing. Let's see. Rodney says, she seems to be rash and emotional, spontaneous in the course of marriage-minded decision-making. And ladies, here's the thing. Like I told you all last week, these decisions are not free. It's going to cost you something, because now you got the embarrassment. I'm sure somebody like that needs a lot of attention. When she got that ring and couldn't wait to flex in front of everybody, she was telling everybody about how I have this whirlwind romance and he's the man of my dreams. And I'm sure she had some big ridiculous wedding. And now you have pie on your face or egg on your face because people are probably like, what happened? Trouble in paradise? That's why, ladies. And people are going to ask you, the men that we want are going to ask you to explain the decisions that you've made. And you need to be ready for that. All right. Rodney says the social media therapist chair is the worst place to get meaningful help. Nobody's going to help you here. They're going to butter their popcorn and they're going to sit down and watch you crash out and laugh at you. All right. All right. So thank you all so much. Jurgen says it's a typical female Disney fantasies, and she planned it. All right. So yes, we are reacting to a collection of videos. And again, if you all just hopped in, this is part 3 of an unintentional series, but the name of the video is Ladies Enjoy Being Single, because the wives aren't even making it. And remember, there is a nameless, faceless channel of a woman who's basically encouraging women to stay single because this is what the wives are going through. Rodney says she wanted the wedding, not the marriage. Let us continue.
I'm an attorney, and one question I have seen a lot since season 3 of Bridgerton came out is, what is the difference between a divorce and an annulment? So to be clear, a divorce is a dissolution of a valid legal marriage, meaning it is an ending of a marriage that was properly formed and properly existed. The main difference is the grounds, meaning the justification that you're going to obtain an annulment versus just a divorce, and then the legal effect that an annulment has on a marriage. However, when someone files for annulment, They want the court to recognize that that marriage itself is null and void, meaning that it never should have existed in the first place. Now, a court is not just going to annul a marriage because you wish it hadn't existed, because it's embarrassing or you regret it. You're going to have to prove very specific grounds, meaning that there was fraud at the time the marriage was entered into, somebody was coerced, someone didn't have mental capacity to enter into the marriage, or someone was underage. This is very different than the grounds for divorce, where there all you need to prove is that after you entered into the marriage, issues arose like irreconcilable differences, abuse, or abandonment.
So today is my 3-year wedding anniversary, and I can without a doubt say that this has been hands down the most depressing, miserable, horrible 3 years of my life. I have literally never been so depressed. I've never hated another person more than I hate the person that I married.
While I run my ass off and I do everything for everybody in my life, like me, my kids, him, he goes to work and works enough. That's it. He works. Yeah, his job's hard. Yeah, his hours suck, but he works. That is all he does. I am in a different town because I had to take my kids to their football practice, and I asked him to watch our daughter, and you know what he did? He slept. He slept since he got home. What did I do? I did homework. I fed the kids. I took my son to speech. I went to the bank. I paid people to mow my yard because, he can't mow the yard anymore. I, like I said, made sure homework got done. I got them ready for football. I took them to football. I tried taking care of myself and went on a walk. But, when I started realizing I hadn't heard from him, I'm calling and calling and calling and begging for the bare minimum of him to watch our fucking daughter. Excuse my language. I'm just so upset. To watch our daughter, to cut up a watermelon and to make dinner.
I mean, that is absolutely bare minimum. That's not asking for much. And it's not even today. It's not even today. Oh, so then when he realizes that he's almost running out of time and we're going to be home soon, he's like, oh, I can't because I don't have this. So you know what a normal person would do? They'd be like, oh, I don't have that. Let me go get it. But guess what? He has 30 minutes until everybody's going to be home. So he's just like, I'm just not going to do anything. I'm just going to lay now because I waited so long and now I'm mad at myself. Now I'm just not going to do anything because F it.
I am 30 years old and I'm literally begging for the bare minimum every single day. I am a married single mom. That's what I am. Yeah, I don't work, but the amount of weight I carry, I have been applying for jobs. I mean, I can tell you right now, the reason women stay in shit relationships is 1, because they don't have the means to leave financially, like a house. 2, the idea of a family. I can tell you why I've stayed. Money. It's that simple. I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. He used to want me to be a stay-at-home mom. Now he just doesn't care because he doesn't care about anything. I shouldn't have to wake a 32-year-old man up for work. No matter what shift, first, second, third, I shouldn't have to wake him up for work. I shouldn't have to tell him what time to set an alarm if I can't wake him up. I shouldn't have to call or make people go wake him up. I shouldn't tell a grown man that he probably should shower after working all day. I shouldn't have to tell him to brush his teeth. I shouldn't have to tell him to feed his kids while he's taking care of them. I shouldn't have to tell him to watch his kids. I shouldn't have to tell him what to put the kids in when it comes to clothes. I shouldn't have to tell him where the clothes are. He doesn't even know my kids' teachers' names. I shouldn't have to manage his schedule and mine and my kids.
See, when you're single, you don't even have to date anybody long enough to the point that you hate them because you'll cut them off long before that. And typically that's what women would do. But of course, she's married. So, she's a wife. She's a housewife, the soft life. So she's stuck. She's up and stuck. And he knows that. That's why he's pushing it even further, making her hate him even more. Let's get into more. This is getting juicy.
I shouldn't have to tell him, hey, you need to refill your medicine. Hey, you need a doctor's appointment. Hey, you should probably get your oil changed. Hey, your brakes don't sound good. Not only tell him, but then I have to call and schedule that oil change because will he do it himself? No. Will he call himself? No. I am raising another kid. And so what's going to happen when I get my job? I am going to be doing everything that I'm doing
on top of working now. I shouldn't have to tell a grown man if he can and can't buy something because he doesn't know how much money we have, because never in his life has he ever downloaded a banking app on his phone. Never has he ever looked at a pay stub. Never has he ever even looked at a bill to see what it costs. So yeah, he might make the money, but who carries the financial weight? Who carries the way to budget the money? Who makes the grocery list? Who makes sure we have food so we can eat food? Who makes sure he has this, that, and everything else, when all he gives about is getting and sleeping? Because you know what? If he's not high, he's not happy. I should not be begging a grown man for the bare minimum. On top of the bare minimum, I shouldn't have to deal with the anger outbursts, breaking my shit where my door won't even close, putting holes in my walls, threatening to kill me in front of my kids. The list could just go on and on. And yeah, I know I can leave, because trust me, I am leaving. But people can't just walk out and leave one day when you have kids and 12 years of life wrapped up together. You got to have a plan. You can't just walk away with nothing. You have to have a plan. My plan is in effect right now, but I just had a rant because I'm just baffled. I just don't want to spend another day like this. And I know I just got to get through a couple more days, couple more weeks. And then what? My kids lose their dad? When I quit forcing him to be one, when I quit forcing him to help, when he loses his job because he doesn't wake up himself, like I don't even know where I'm going with this. It's just not fair. Happy 3-year anniversary to me. Happy 3 years of misery. I mean, I'm trying so hard not to be bitter, but like, I've just never disliked somebody so much that I should love, that I just don't. In sickness and health, better or worse, like, no. Like, so destroy myself and destroy my kids to keep a vow? Nope. I don't even know where I'm going with this. I'm waiting to get my kids from football so I can go home to a fight that I already know I'm going to go home to, so I can figure out dinner at 8:30 at night and do showers and get everything ready for the next day to do it all over again. Moms literally cannot give up. You just can't give up, because nobody else is going to pick up the pieces. Dads will check out. Dads will do this. Dads will do that. But as a mom, you literally cannot, because you have to carry it. All right. I'm done ranting. I guess I should say, what a perfect day to wear my Patterson Law shirt. Problems with your ex, call Rex. If you need a good lawyer, he's your guy. But don't worry, I'm not going to need a lawyer, because he's not going to fight for anything, because that's how little he cares, which good for me, but sad for my kids.
Alrighty, so we've made it to the end of this video. If I was able to clear up some of that FOMO for you, please let me know in the comments. I would love to know how good of a job I did helping you change your mindset on you being single, especially during the holidays. Do you see how much heartache and headache you are avoiding? Good for you. Pat on the back for you. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm going to see you in the next video. I'm about to snuggle up by myself and enjoy a night of knowing I'm not being cheated on.
I'm glad it's finally over. Okay, there was so much there. I don't even know where to begin, but let me see if I can recollect my thoughts. Did you all notice the language and the tone of the Nameless Faceless channel? Did you all notice before this last rant when she said, well, of course she's married, she's living a soft life, so she's mocking marriage. Remember we talked about intent last week. This is a person who is so miserable that in order to make herself feel better about being single around the holidays, she has to scrub the bottom of the ocean floor to find women that are crashing out in their marriages and stitch that together as a way of making herself feel better about the holidays so she can snuggle up with herself. Disgusting. I already had that rant. The other thing that stood out to me, Rodney picked it up. Together for 12 years and married 3. Did you all do the struggle math on this one? So this woman who is ranting, she said, today is my 3-year wedding anniversary. But she said she's waiting in the car for her kids to go to football practice. Unless this is some super, super peewee football practice, and they've been together 12 years, they had kids before they were married. I'm assuming these kids are some type of elementary school, because if they were 3 years old on the dot, you wouldn't be in the car. You would be out there watching the little ones. You have older kids. So we don't know if you nag this man into marrying you. But obviously, this is another woman who doesn't respect her husband. And all this complaining that she's doing about the things. Young ladies, hear me. Even though my marriage ended in divorce, you know, the way that we co-parent, and I did this before, when the kids would have a parent-teacher conference, I would make a calendar invite and add my ex-husband to it. When he had prescriptions that would be better in like mail order pharmacy, I changed his prescription so that they would be a 90-day supply instead of a whatever supply. There are so many things that when you want to be a wife, you do them with joy. For me, this is a problem. This whole thing about men and women are equal. You all hear me ranting about we are not equal. We are equally valued. But what you heard from this woman and the other woman who couldn't cut the tomato, these are the type of tit for tat women that have this long checklist of this insatiable list of all the things that they do. And they're going to be constantly comparing. I do this, and this, and he only does this. Because you are expecting your husband to be equal, you need to be both working equally hard, but in different ways. You heard her say this man works first, second, and third shift. He works, he makes the money. She does not have to provide. I wish there were a part 2, not really, but I would love to see her join the workforce and try and manage all of this, plus bring in income. She has a life that I'm going to say she's put herself in a position because you are now resenting the decision that you made. You expected your 3rd anniversary to be something wonderful, but you're out of order. You had kids. Maybe, you know, you surprised him with children that he didn't want or plan for, because men marry the women that they want to have a family with. Yes, I said it, because my man has said, if you are an unwed mother, you are not a mother, you're just a baby mama. Men choose the mothers that they marry. Get off my soapbox. But anyway, so we don't know if you berated him into marriage and then you thought by doing things out of order the way you want, he's going to conjure up this love for you and treat you like somebody that's just like, oh my goodness, she's been a wonderful woman to me. So many things there. And young ladies, listen, if you, again, do not respect that man, if you don't do the things happily with joy. I think Killa said it too. I thought a woman's job or a wife's job was to take care of the home and family. And those of us that are wives, we take pride in it. If you feel like it's beneath you, if you feel like it's demeaning, if you feel like the things that you do will always outweigh what your husband does, you're not a wife. And I accept that. Not every woman is meant to be a wife. And, lastly, I'll say this, ladies, this is why you do things in order, so you can take the time to have conversations. What are the expectations? Okay, you're going to work and provide, so I need to make sure that I keep the house running as a well-oiled machine. And when you know that going into the marriage, you're not having this laundry list of things to do that you hate because you knew what was expected, because you all had a conversation. He said, I am going to work and I am going to provide, and I need you to handle everything else. And then, ladies, we either accept with grace or we exit with grace. But what you don't do is take all the benefits, take the perks, wrestle him to the ground to marry you, and then sit here on the internet again complaining about, I can't wait to join the workforce because I'm going to be happier than where I am now. What would you say, Lucy?
I mean, the nerve of this woman saying that he works all the time to provide for him, and he gets home and he's tired. He wants to sleep. He needs to rest. Give the man his rest. I mean, it's you know, and I can just imagine him arriving and her starting to talk the way that she talked like this. I would also probably would have punched the door if I was welcomed with that nagging every day. Whoa, it's me. I'm so sad because I'm a housewife. It's just, it is insane. And I remember the divorce attorney who said that the worst divorces have been with stay-at-home moms. The stay-at-home moms are the most vicious, most entitled women when they decide to divorce the man. So I feel bad for the guy. You know, I don't know what kind of work he does. You know, I can just my empathy level for that man wanting to provide for that family, for that ungrateful woman, is just insane. I can't believe that she's going on social media talking so badly about the man. First of all, she met him when she was 18. So it took her 12 years to figure out that the guy was maybe as passive as she makes him think that makes us think that he is. There's something really weird in this. I think that the man has either checked out, he's trying to figure out how to work best with what he's given, because obviously she's not working. So again, she's telling us that aside from him working the 3 shifts, she wants him to go to the kids' sports, do the grocery shopping, do the planning. What does she really want to actually do? This is so odd. It's very strange.
Absolutely. I'm going to see what you all are saying in the chat. Absolutely. But yeah, this is just, whew, there's so much wrong here. But young ladies, especially, there are different type of marriages. There are different types of wives. There are different types of husbands. Lucy and I speak from the traditional gender roles perspective. That is what we promote. But if you want to do something else, you need to say that. If you expect to be a pampered princess and really not have to lift a finger, you need to make sure that the man that you're marrying is fine to have you on his arm as candy and have somebody else doing all the things. But if you get into a relationship and you think it's just going to be, I love you and you love me, especially when you had kids already, you knew this was going to be difficult. And I do feel for that man. To me, it sounds like another man who has checked out. And I don't even know if he married her willingly, if the kids were already there and this is their 3rd anniversary. Yes. Did you all hear that when she said, yeah, he works, and yeah, he works long hours, and yeah, he makes the money, but. So she's not grateful for what she has. She's not grateful that she doesn't have to go out here in the work world and compete. She's looking at everything like it's not enough, because she has this idea in her mind of what marriage was supposed to be. She has this idea in her mind of what we're going to be equal parents. We're going to do things. Have you considered that maybe the husband said, I am going to work my fingers to the bone so that she doesn't have to worry about income. And I'm going to make sure that all the kids, can do their necessities, and they're in team sports, which we know, I'll tell you as a parent, these extracurricular activities, they have fees and all these things. And so she's in a position where she's able to have, the type of childhood that, she may want for her kids and not have to provide for that. I think she should be grateful, but let's see what you all are saying in the chat. Yeah, so he's working 3 shifts. Gillis is saying, yes, does she work, but only one is working? Yeah. Ronnie says it sounds like she doesn't like being a wife. And ladies, we covered this in the wife lessons, and I forgot to say it, so I'll say it now. I put a poll up on my page. Lucy and I are currently in the finishing school class, but if you go to my YouTube page and go to posts, I put a poll. If you scroll down, what you want us to teach next. We teach private classes on Zoom. The wife lessons, which is the advanced class, or relationship basics, which is the basic class. And we talked about this in the wife lessons, really understanding that a wife is a job. A wife is a role. It is not a dress and a party and you get to sit up somewhere and be pampered. Lucy's been saying we need to talk about this soft life myth next, because so many women think that you're not going to do anything. Mean old Mister said it this week, and he tells the men in the barbershop, you know, I don't talk to the men, but he said, if you don't have a woman that's working just as hard as you are, but in other areas, you need to leave her alone. Doesn't matter how good she looks, doesn't matter all of that stuff. We have to be working just as hard as our men. So if you have this fallacy that you're going to get married and you're just going to be catered to, you've already lost. So right now the poll is 50-50. So I will close it at the end of tonight. So whichever one wins, that's what we're going to teach in March. So you all can go vote. Mickey says, yeah, he works. That's what he does. First, second, and third shift. Absolutely. How many ladies here, how many working ladies would trade taking care of everything in the house so you don't have to worry about income? I'll wait. He is working his butt off. And yes, Rodney says, teamwork makes the dream work. Aw, thank you so much, Sunkissed, for the $1.99. Appreciate that so much. We appreciate you. Let's see what else you all are saying in the chat. All right, so we talked about this man is working all of these shifts, working his butt off. Maybe that's what he wanted for the marriage, but maybe she didn't take the time to ask him. And yes, marriage is about being a team. I have to find that video I put on Instagram. I'm going to see if I can find it about the trucker's wife. But ladies, a farmer, my man said, a farmer is looking for a farmer's wife. A trucker is looking for a trucker's wife. A rancher is looking for a rancher's wife. An executive is looking for an executive wife. You have to know what you're signing up for, and just don't walk in there blindly thinking, I have this Barbie dream house in my mind, and the man is supposed to do what I say. The men do the asking, so you need to know. That's why I say accept with grace or exit with grace. Jürgen says you get the impression that she doesn't want to do anything. Yeah, she was going on. And Becky and her says, yeah, you picked him, you married him, and had kids with him. But it sounds like she did it in a different order. She picked him, had the kids, and then said, you gonna marry me. That's what you get, ladies. You get who you are. Kayla says, oh my goodness, this is a lot. Yeah. Christina feels bad. I feel bad for the man. If nothing else, this is your wife on the internet telling all y'all's business. And the numbers did not add up. Lucy is exhausted. Doretha says once she gets a divorce, she's going to have to work. Someone else will be raising the kids. Yeah. Ladies, be very careful before you blow up what you have. Yes. And she didn't say anything about what she's done wrong. Did y'all notice that? Everything is about how miserable she is. Everything was his fault, right? Nameless, faceless peanut gallery. Thank you, Bolo, for the blessings. We appreciate it. Yeah, I get on my soapbox from time to time, but this is part 3 of 3. We are actually done with this episode. And Jürgen says these women have a backup husband, the state. And that's what a lot of men are afraid of, ladies. She says, I got a plan. Did y'all hear at the end? I got a plan, and I'm putting my plan in place, and I won't be single much longer. Ladies, do you know what you look like out here on the dating market with 2 or 3 other kids from a man? You look like fun. You look like somebody to practice on. No other man is going to take you seriously. Let me just say, it will be very, very rare. But again, with an attitude like this, you have now made a permanent memory for everybody of your worst moment. So which man is going to look at that and say, that's the woman for me? And yes, Lucy was spot on. Kayla says there were some strange things about him. She has to wake him up to go to work. Like I said, it sounds to me like this man has checked out, and that's what men do when they're done. They just give up, and it's really, really sad. Doesn't have to be that way. All right, Lucy, anything to close us out?
Thank goodness this one is over. This was a little bit, I think it was frustrating in a way because, again, we have the nameless, faceless peanut gallery making comments about things that she probably has no idea about. And these are serious relationships. These women, most of them are married, thinking about how bad it is for them. And again, marriage, again, is not for everyone. Marriage is for those women that are willing to put in the hard work, because it takes hard work. You know, it's 2 people coming together from two different environments, two different cultures, sometimes maybe two different religious backgrounds or whatever, and then you come together, and it's that time that you have to either decide that you're gonna stick it out no matter what, or the dating part should have given you those red flags to say, yeah, maybe this is not going to be for me. Maybe we're not compatible that way. So again, and I think it's time for society to start taking marriage seriously. Your marriage is not a joke. You're in it together till the end. And I can tell you that men are more willing to stick it out for the women than we women are. So again, it was exhausting. It was frustrating, but I'm hoping that maybe the women that truly want to get into a relationship for marriage till death do us part do understand that, that you're going to have challenges, and those are the challenges that make the relationship stronger in the end.
That is so true. So ladies, especially young ladies, take it from two women with combined over 40 years of marriage experience. Marriage can be very, very rewarding. There will be difficult times, but the difficulty is when you turn to each other. That's what my man said. He said, the way men look at it, life is hard. Life is dangerous out there. They want a woman who's on their team, on their side, not as soon as you get upset with something or you let things build up and fester, you're running to the internet to basically give a laundry list about all the things you hate about your husband. Rodney is saying, yes, traditional marriages require serious time, effort, and energy in today's society. And ladies, again, you have to ask yourself, thank you to legit. I mean, we are trying to be that mother figure. If your mother didn't give you these expectations, so many women are out here you have this idea in your head of what marriage is. And then the real world happens to you and you are unprepared. And then the way you deal with stress is to go crying on the internet for the world to see. And again, the whole reason we're here, this video, this three-part series was a collection from that woman who spoke at the end, TikTok town hall, basically saying, aren't you glad you're single? Aren't you glad you don't have to worry about this on the holidays? Aren't you glad that, ladies, you don't have anybody that you hate? Aren't you glad that nobody's cheating on you? I'm going to curl up in the bed by myself. So the woman who is showcasing your worst moment on the internet is not helping you fix your problem. She's using it as fuel to the fire to break up other marriages. That's what I have a problem with. The whole thing is messed up. So again, ladies, Lucy and I, we have multiple classes. They're on demand. If you all want us to teach either the basic class, go vote on the poll. The poll is at my website, my YouTube, MaggieTheSubstituteTeacher.com. We will teach live either the basic class, which is if you don't know how to date with intention, if you don't know how to choose whether a man is husband material or I just like him, if you don't know what to do in a relationship, how to be useful to a man. If you don't understand what we mean when we say anticipate his needs and study him, if you think I'm just going to show up and because I look cute, that's enough, you're going to find yourself in a situation where you're like, I didn't expect any of this at all. That is the relationship basics class. And you all can go vote for that one if you want us to teach it. That is a 2-week course where we talk about that. If you are married, or want to be married and you have a relationship and you want to make sure that you show up as the best wife and make sure that you are doing the things that promote your husband, the Wife Lessons is our advanced class. And that one is 4 weeks with the workbook where we talk about what husbands need from their wives at different phases of the relationship. Ladies, there's going to be some tough years. There's going to be some lean years. It's difficult when the kids are young and you're trying to move all over the place. But when you hold on to each other and you get to the age in your 50s and 60s and you have a life and you've been through the war together, that is an unbreakable bond. Those are memories that you have with each other that no rando person on the internet is going to tell you. I think you'd be better off being part of the workforce and letting someone else look after your kids. So Lucy and I will be here with you all twice a week. We're going to be back on Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. So we're here with you all twice a week, just making sure, we'll be back with another video giving you all our perspective, trying to be the older women that teach the young. All right. Anything else, Lucy, before we go?
I think we're good. I'll send you the topic, I don't know, between today and tomorrow, and it's not going to be anything as critical as this one. Anyway, thank you all for being with us, and thank you, Maggie, for such beautiful perspectives that you provide, because it's, we need it in society. We do need that in society. And see you all Wednesday.
All right. So until then, we will say
Adios.
adios.